greetings. Welcome to another edition of Calf Chat. I'm Noah Litherland, Dairy Technical Specialist for calves and heifers, and good to get a chance to visit with you today. I'd like to visit with you about some really exciting work that came out of the American Dairy Science Association meetings down in Florida earlier this summer. Scientists get together and share all the science and things that they've learned over the years, get a chance to bounce ideas off of colleagues, and really share some of the new things that are happening in the industry. Some really amazing work was really presented during that time, and so I'd just like to share a few of those really kind of exciting keynote things that we learned from that experience. Workers down at Iowa State have been doing some really cool work with looking at impact of sickness or illness in baby calves on their actual energy requirements. We often think of negative energy balance in transition cows. Well, newborn calves that develop some type of an illness can actually develop negative energy balance as well. Workers in New Hampshire did some really neat work where they looked at what can we do for the dry cows from a feeding and management standpoint to produce greater quality colostrum. So they decided to dose cows during the dry period with niacin. They fed about 48 to 50 grams of niacin per cow per day and looked at colostrum quality and colostrum volume. One of the things that they noticed was a significant increase in the IgGs, that ever important IgGs for the calf, in that colostrum whenever niacin was fed. Workers in Virginia Tech just made an amazing discovery, and they were, for the very first time, able to correlate immune function in a baby calf with udder development. They've been able to locate cells within the udder that are part of the innate immune system, or the immune system that the calf develops in those early 2 to 3 weeks of life. Those cells are actually closely associated with udder tissue, or the parenchymal tissue that will eventually be the milk-secreting tissue. And as those cells increase in number, so does the parenchymal tissue. And so as we continue to try to find ways to raise healthy calves, that may be another link showing how important nursery calf management is in terms of how that will impact the animal's ability to be a productive cow in the herd. One of the interesting things that came out of the meeting was some work from Alex Bach's group over in Spain. One of the things that he discovered was that when we feed whole milk that's been pasteurized, but whole milk that's been treated with from cows treated with antibiotics, that we do have the potential to produce some antimicrobial resistant microbes within the gut of the calf. And so he thinks what's going on is that we're dosing low levels of antibiotics through the milk, and those low levels of antibiotics are not enough to kill the bacteria. Since they're not killing the bacteria can adapt, become more resistant, and actually maybe cause some future potential problems. And so you don't think anything to be alarmed about at this stage of the game. It's something to kind of keep an eye on for the future. Well, workers at Colorado State did an amazing job surveying a huge number of dairies throughout the U.S. and trying to develop some benchmark numbers in terms of what are producers doing now in terms of heifer raising. They looked at how many calves or how many farms are actually raising their calves off-site. Small size farms, about 5.5%, a very small number of those farms are raising heifers off-site. 11.9%, nearly doubling for medium-sized farms. When we get to large farms, about 44% of those heifers are being raised off of site. The Colorado State work also had some nice results, and they showed that there's been about a 1.5% drop in heifer mortality rates since 2006. So 7.8% mortality rate in 2006 down to 6.4% mortality rate in pre-weaned heifers in 2013. One area that they did find there's maybe a real opportunity for improvement is the timing of feeding and watering calves. One of the things they noted, the heifers were offered fresh water at about 17 days of age, where we really like to have water in front of those heifers at all time. Even though they may not be drinking a large amount, having some water there is very, very important. Same thing with starter grain intake. They reported an average of 11 days of age for when calves were first offered starter grain intake. So again, another serious opportunity. That starter grain intake might be small, but boy, it is really, really important. Let's wrap up with a little bit of data from Virginia Tech. We've always been interested in automated calf feeding systems, definitely becoming more popular, certainly here in the Midwest. Virginia Tech did a really nice large field study where they took a variety of farms throughout the East Coast and really tried to dial in and figure out how are calves being managed in these automated calf feeders. Well, the data was a little surprising. We'll share some of that with you. The average number of calves per pen was 10 calves per pen. That's an East Coast number, which is going to be quite a bit higher, we think, at least on average, within the Midwest. The average daily gain for these heifers over 56 days or 2 months was 1.6 pounds per day. Not bad, but not exceptional either. Mortality at 3.1%. The morbidity was 61%. So really treating a lot of calves within these automated calf feeders as we continue to try to understand how they're functioning. But mortality rate's about half of what we see on a national average. Whenever we start calves on the automated calf feeders, we're always concerned about how much milk to feed early on. Just like me, calves will drink as much milk as they can, maybe more than they should sometimes. The starting allotment for calves was calculated to be 5.7 liters or quarts per day, with a range of 4 to 6 liters per day, with the average peak at around 9. Huge range in the maximum amount of milk that calves are being fed here. The range was 7 liters at the low end, all the way up to 16 liters on the high end. And those calves are definitely going to be needing life preserver as far as that goes, because they'll be swimming in milk. So a lot of really great data from the July American Dairy Science Association meeting. A lot of really great scientists doing a lot of wonderful work to further our calf industry. With that, I'm Noah Litherland with this edition of Calf Chat. Have a great day.